episode 4.
4.
Which means it's Jack's week if you've been paying attention, which I hope you have.
Are you noticing a pattern?
What's the pattern?
Because you.
Oh, right,
me,
yeah.
Then you, then me.
Yeah, and then a live stream next week.
Live stream.
Or, months ago, depending on when you're watching this video.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So Jack's going to read out his original story right now. Last week it was me, and Jack gave me a 7.5.
Yes, I did.
For my video, which is called Subscribe. If you haven't seen that, go and watch it, and also subscribe. We've also got 3 other videos up right now, so we've got a good half an hour's worth of H.P for you to catch up on if you're new here. So go and check it out. We'll do it after this because Jack's about to read out his story, which I'm very excited for.
You excited?
I'm very excited for it.
I'm excited that you're excited.
You told me the title earlier, but I forgot.
Well, good. Well, that's a good thing. And it's also, I approached this one this week with Danny's favourite word in mind, which is Lovecraftian. Because you love that word, don't you?
Yeah, I love that word. No, I do. I do love the word. Jack just really, really loves the word.
It's a great word. It's a great word. And you could also say that this is Lovecraftian in its scope. So This is my little homage to the works of Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Alright, we're just going to go straight into it.
Go straight into it. Give him the title.
Blindly going into it. Mm-hmm. So this week's story is a story called The Friendship Box.
Friendship Box.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to guess what it's about.
Well, there we go. That's fine. It's the fear of the unknown. Okay, let's go.
Henry was a lonely man. By no means did that make him an unhappy man. In some cases, far from it, in fact. But Henry was a lonely man in the purest sense of the word. He was alone. And despite living in one of the busiest and vibrant and beautiful cities in the country, he could never quite find his footing around other people. Growing up, he was an only child, and throughout his teens, his hometown wasn't exactly the place to cultivate a friendship group. Newlywed and nearly dead, his father used to say. By the time Henry had milled out a career, all of his time had been spent at university studying accounting, but sadly enough, his parents had passed away within a year of each other. His mother had suffered a pulmonary aneurysm and his father a heart attack a few months later. They were never there to see Henry in his gown and cap, lifting his diploma. That same year though, Henry moved to the city. He'd been headhunted by the A.B. Wilmarth Financing Group, an entry-level position keeping the books for their marketing department, and the work was challenging enough to keep Henry occupied while he quietly grieved over his parents' passing. He worked alone in a small office in the back of the building on the 27th floor, from 9 a.m. sharp to 5 p.m. on the dot. In and out, then back to his apartment where he'd cook dinner, usually a fillet of fish, some potatoes and green vegetables. Then he'd read magazines for a few hours before heading off to bed to do it all again. On one particular evening, after he'd eaten a side of sole and some asparagus, Henry was flipping through the advertising section of Men's Lifestyle magazine when he noticed a strangely enticing ad for a novelty gift item on the second last page. It was called The Friendship Box, and for just $55.99 plus VAT, the ad claimed that Henry would never be lonely again. It amused Henry quite a bit, and for a few minutes he quietly chuckled over the thought. He didn't know how or why a box would or could ever bring him friendship, but he figured at the least it would be an amusing novelty collector's item. And the best, hey, maybe it would work. Henry reached for his telephone and dialed the number at the bottom of the ad. It was late and he half expected to hear an out-of-hours recording, but after just 2 dial tones, the receiver clicked. He heard a drawn-out breath on the other line. "Hello there," said Henry. "I'm sorry that it's late. I'm calling to inquire about your advertisement in the recent Men's Lifestyle magazine. I'd like to order the Friendship Box." "Yes," said the voice on the other line. It was monotone and strangely expansive. "We were expecting your call." Henry curiously smirked. Perhaps this was part of their marketing shtick, so he played along. He told the voice on the line that he felt less lonely already, and it was comforting to know that they were expecting him. "Yes, Henry," they replied. "This is the perfect beginning to our relationship." He didn't question how the voice on the line knew his name. He knew firsthand that marketing and data collection were leaps and bounds ahead of whatever anyone expected, but for some strange reason, Henry felt like a fly on a wax trap. "Shall I give you my card details then?" asked Henry. "And when shall I expect delivery?" "No need," replied the voice. "We'll collect payment at a later date. You can expect delivery tomorrow, 6 p.m. sharp." 6 p.m? asked Henry, caught slightly off guard. "Yes," said the voice on the other line. "It'll give you time to get home from work." The line clicked off and the dial tone hummed, and Henry felt a strange, uneasy pang in the pit of his stomach. He wasn't entirely sure what he'd just signed up for, and he tried redialing the number to ease his uncertainty. This time, though, Henry heard no dial tone, just a long, drawn-out hum. The next day at work, Henry felt a bizarre mix of nervousness and excitement. As he was drafting cost sheets and budget assessments, he couldn't shake the thought of what would be waiting for him when he returned home for the evening. The ad didn't even have any pictures for him to form a mental image around. It was all text with a brief description. The friendship box. The last time you'll ever feel lonely. For most of the afternoon, Henry felt like a schmuck. He figured he'd been scammed, an elaborate prank by bored college kids, probably art students trying to capture sound bites on existentialism for their final semester. A piece titled Henry, a study of human isolation. On the buzz back from work, Henry felt deflated. At least he hadn't given them his credit card details though, right? That was a relief. It could have been much worse, he figured. By 5:45, Henry had made it back to his apartment, and of course, there was nothing waiting for him on his doorstep. Not even a note, not even a "sorry we missed you." He slumped in his leather-backed chair and couldn't even muster the energy to flick through his magazines. But after a while of sitting in the quiet, low light of the early evening, Henry heard a knock at his door. He checked his watch. It was 6 p.m, on the dot. He climbed out of his chair and curiously approached the front door, unbolted the lock, and creaked it open. To his amusement, there was no one there. Whoever had knocked was long gone in the 20 or so seconds that had passed, somehow without making any noise along the creaky, echoey corridor. Yet, when Henry looked down, on the doormat lay a curious wooden box. He picked it up, and in his hands, it felt strange. The wood was heavy, yet it felt unexplainably spongy, porous almost. Across the edges, the box was carved in spirals, infinite endless loops that made it difficult to discern where they began and where they ended. On the front was a manila paper note that Henry could have sworn were printed in odd, incomprehensible symbols. The word arcane crept into Henry's mind, but in that brief, synaptic pause, he saw them grotesquely swirl and unfurl into the English lexicon. Perhaps it had been a longer day than Henry had realised. Perhaps he was tired and his mind was playing tricks, but nevertheless, the note read, "Henry, this is your friendship box. Open it tonight only under the light of the moon, and you will never be lonely again." His fingers unconsciously moved toward the metal latch that held the lid in place, but for some reason, the note's instructions weighed heavier on his mind than he expected. Open it tonight, only under the light of the moon. He swiftly turned around and closed the door. He paced across the apartment and placed the friendship box on his coffee table. Peering his head out of the window, Henry noticed that the low light of the evening had crept darker, and to his surprise, the night sky was clear and ever-present. As chance would have it, it was a full moon, and the great celestial body was larger and brighter than he'd ever seen it before. Eagerly, he flung open his window and snatched the wooden box from the coffee table. He smoothed his hands across its strange, perplexing surface, tracing his fingers around the endless swirled carvings. Henry rested the friendship box upon his windowsill, and with his thumb and forefinger, he slipped off the metal clasp. Henry pulled open the lid, and when he looked down, the noise that he made had never once before spilled out of his lungs. It was a guttural wrench from the deep, dark pits of his stomach where the true horror of existence lives. that despite the trauma and isolation Henry had ever experienced throughout his 47 years on Earth paled in comparison to. But despite that, the brief, fleeting plea of this adult man fell on deaf ears. The roaring, passing cacophony of the city drowned him out. And with that, Henry was gone. The lid closed. The friendship box filled. It lay there on the windowsill, bathing in the bright glow of the moon. An hour or so later, Henry's apartment door was broken open, the only clue that the police would have when investigating his mysterious disappearance. It was broken open by two men dressed in black. One of them carried a large leather briefcase with the words "The Friendship Box Limited" emblazoned on the front. The other man quickly paced across Henry's apartment to the windowsill and collected the strange wooden box. Together, they opened the briefcase, and inside were rows and rows of the same vessel that Henry had curiously been so captivated by. They placed Henry's box beside the rest, and for the first time in his life, he was a part of something whole. Henry would never be lonely again.
Henry, no. He just wanted a friend. He just wanted a friend. Is he dead? No, he's not dead. He's not dead. I know he's not dead. Where is he? You can't keep writing these things that need answers. This is 2 stories now where Jack just set up the most awesome sequel ever. Like, I want to go inside the box now.
You don't want to go inside the friendship box.
I want to know what's inside there.
Do you?
I want to have
have
a rope tied around me and lowered in.
Henry wanted to know.
That was great. I thought the pacing was really good. And it also reminded me of something you said, I think, in the first week, which is really scary when, something could be explained away at first, could be explained away by normal things, but there's actually something much darker to it when it could be either one. Like when he's on the phone and they could have known his name through data collection. That's not strange anymore in this day and age.
Exactly.
You need to know your name and details.
Yeah.
But instantly we know something else is up, right? But to Henry, I think that's really scary when when the character doesn't know how much danger they're in.
Yes.
And we know. And we have this omnipotent sort of.
Yeah. And that's Lovecraftian, right?
Yes.
That's kind of like the idea of something completely larger than you and I could ever comprehend.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I wanted it to be completely ambiguous, completely unknown. And I didn't want to describe what was inside the box or whatever. I wanted it to be.
Yes.
We'll never know.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Yes,
You never know
exactly.
what's in
So that is a real fear of the unknown. And I think as well, shh. A lot of cars out here in the woods.
There's so many cars driving around in the woods, we don't know why.
Ever since we started Ho and now they're all coming to try and meet us. Okay, so could be a bear. I don't know.
Is that a bear? Motor bear.
Wait, what were we saying? You were saying
Fear of the unknown. That's really loud. The fuck?
should we shuffle closer?
Shut up, dude.
I'll pause it for a second.
Yeah. You're back.
Sorry, I got interrupted by a bear / a car.
Motor bear.
Motor bear.
Yeah.
We were talking about the fear of the unknown. And I think that, going back to what I said, I love the sort of omnipotence of the listener as well in that. Because if you remember the one I did last week, you were going along with her as she was realising something was up, right? But the way you set that up, it's it's kind of like picking up, who's the guy who wrote all the Lovecraftian stuff?
H.P Lovecraft.
H.P Lovecraft. There you go. No, you said someone else earlier at the start. You said, you said it in the name of this person or something.
Howard Phillips Lovecraft.
Oh, right. You said Howard Phillips.
H.P.
Oh, okay. You said Howard Phillips.
Howard Phillips.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, it's a different person.
No.
If you were to read if you were able to read a new story or something,
Yeah.
you could make it the most sort of mundane, ordinary start to the story, but that fear is only growing with each sort of mundane thing that goes along.
Exactly.
Same as like a Stephen King novel. So
Yes.
It doesn't matter how it starts.
Yeah.
It starts the most ordinary thing. But like you as the reader, and I love the power of like the reader or the listener is making it scary just by them actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was really powerful.
That's why I felt a lot of that resting on the ending.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just he disappears into a box.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's not that scary, is it?
No.
No.
And it sounds really sinister as well, because at first I was, when it got to the bit where it was like the moon and the box, I was like, this is just some sort of weird, demonic company that sort of like serves people. It's like be careful what you ask for.
Yes, that's
what
I had in mind with that story. Be careful what you wish for.
And I thought it was just going to be, here's your box, the lesson. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew the lesson would be like, careful what you ask for. But it was a whole other level when they came to go and get the box back, because that's sort of actively being demonic, not just sort of passively. They're collecting.
On that point, if you're talking about, always leaving it on an ambiguous unknown note, on that point, what I had in mind, I was going to write like a cult in, but I felt like them just being on the outskirts is better. So imagine a cult that is almost like a corporation cult. And in this sense, in Henry's case, this cult preys on lonely people who are seeking friendship. But in the end, all they are is another soul harvested. Right.
And it's a perfect type of person for them to target.
Exactly.
Lonely people.
All the lonely people.
Where do they all come from? Because like there are a lot of there's so many people out there who, it's sad to say, could go missing tomorrow. So he didn't have. So he said his parents died. He moved to a city, so he doesn't have any. He's by himself. No sort of friends or connections. Yeah. Right.
Works a boring job. No.
Yeah. Which definitely it adds to the fear of even being alone as well. Like even if you knew people around, like even if you had friends or family back home and stuff, none of that matters, because it's all about what's in your vicinity. And from the sound of it, all he had was his job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know what's in the box.
What's in the box?
But I'm going to give that.
Result. Oh! This is the real existential crisis.
I'm going to give that. I'm going to give it a 7.3 again.
Oh, consistency is best.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I think
that's it.
I think you definitely stepped up the writing. I thought some of the imagery. What I love was the shift in language as well, from the start, which was very mundane stuff, and then when it was that cacophony stuff, that's when you just flipped it on a dime. The writing style, and it became Lovecraftian. There, I said it.
He said it.
It did. But like that's a skill to do, because we talk about narrative voice and stuff, and your authoritative voice. I find that difficult to change up intentionally and hard to keep consistent when I'm not. And I think you balanced it really well. And just like, I know it's the same score as last time, but the reason is because I want to know more. I want to know more.
That's how I've got to get him then. I've got to give him more.
Yeah. But I also feel like I might have just given you the secret to me giving you the score. It's just like, just cut it off. You could have done that after the first line. It's like,
7.3.
After the first sentence. I want to know more. Like, yeah, Henry had breakfast. You just end it. I'm like, I want to know more. It's a 7.3. Fear of the unknown.
Perfect. That's how we get it.
Yeah, that was really good. What do you guys think? Do you guys enjoy that? We're going to be replying to every single comment. Like we always do.
And hearting them.
Yeah. This has been really fun, but next week we're actually going to be doing a special. We're going to be doing a live stream where we read out all of your submitted scary stories that you send to us using this email right here. ohno stories@gmail.com. We don't care how long they are. We don't care. If I say we don't care how good they are, I mean, try.
Yeah.
But don't worry. Don't worry, like whatever you got, it's just going to be us reading them out and also chatting to you guys and talking about our plans for this channel and just sort of getting to know you, because there's a few familiar faces we've seen on some of the comment sections, but
there are.
Generally speaking,
good to see you all.
Yeah, we want to know who you are. Not in a creepy way.
No.
And thanks again for all people that have subscribed over the past couple of weeks. I think by this point, what are we aiming for by this point?
Oh, well, last week we said...
Last week we aimed 400, and I have no idea if we'll actually get that by the time the video goes out.
Exactly, so should we say 400 again?
401.
There we go.
We're aiming 401. Alright, thanks for watching How I Know,
Thank
guys.
you so much, guys.
We're going to head out and blow the
Blow the
fire
fire
out,
out,
as
yeah.
usual. We should just keep it. We should just leave it between the weeks.
Just keep it going.
Just keep it going next time.
The eternal fire.
The eternal flame.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.